call from Cloud9 based upon the way the map worked. You had some weird stuff from Tempo, from Mangachu when Hanzo, that one time on Sanctum that didn't really work out as well. But Surefour was playing so well on McCree, why not just let him continue to be on McCree? Maybe it's not exactly what you planned out in scrims, even though Roadhog works better on that map. Triple Tank works better because of Ana, and we all know, how that goes. But Surefour's McCree is still one of the best in the world, along with Mendo. So to not have McCree on either of them for both the maps that they lost, both the rounds that they lost, is kind of interesting. Now that we're going to another King of the Hill, I have to suspect that they won't make that mistake again. I mean, I know they've been practicing these certain comps the way they want to play, but put your players in the best position to win on the characters that they're best at, even if the comp is a little bit less than the ideal meta, for the current way that Overwatch is played right now.
So you bring up a good point there while we're stuck in pause and waiting for Mini to get back in the game, but that's a concept that we've been seeing in Overwatch quite a bit as of late. The idea that you have your meta, and your meta is good and fine. You have your new hotness that comes out every now and then, but there's still enough difference in skill where people do have their favorite heroes, where you can make a hero work, where even if it's not the best thing on paper, you just might be so good on a hero, especially relative to what people expect, that you can make it work in suboptimal situations. And again, I think Shadowburn probably the poster child for that more so than anyone else, but I think you make a strong argument for Surefour's McCree as well, as mentioned in game, as you mentioned on the analysis just there. And Hex, we're unpausing here. We're getting ready to go on the Lijiang Night Market stage. And what do we see here but Surefour opening things up here on the McCree? I wonder if this will be an adjustment that C9 ends up coming out with.
Well, he's going to have to duel his counterpart too, because on the other side, we do see Mangachu for the moment on this McCree as well. It's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to see it. I would love to see it if Spo sticks on this Junkrat, but that would mean they're only running a single healer in Ana, and as good as Ana is right now, especially the way the meta is, I don't think you can afford to not run a Lucio on control point maps. I just think that's not even an option.
I gotta say, by the way, that I keep getting freaked out by the pause where I think my game crashed in the middle of going, oh no, the game crashed. Is my internet out? Is something terrible happen? It's like, no, it's just pause. It says it in the middle of the screen.
Pause in 2016.
Thank you for that, Rod.
Well, so you bring up a good point, though, just as far as putting Surefour on the McCree, even if it's not meta or it's not really locked in there. And I think that there's a couple things that go with that, is that DPS is one of the roles that you can kind of roll whatever you want. It's not like you have to run a certain thing just kind of strict to the meta. It's less strict than the other ones. And also on King of the Hill maps, you can kind of get away with it more than you can on perhaps a hybrid map.
Definitely. Well, the fight has begun here. Surefour is on the McCree. Mangachu is his counterpart on the other side. Both McCrees putting power into the Reinhardt shields. Mini's shield explodes, and so does Mini. Mini with the panic charge, and Surefour able to get on the flank, effectively setting up for 3 kills here, looking for more Zarya. Not going to be long for this world, and C9 just overpowering Tempo for the first fight here on Lijiang. And again, sort of going back to our pre-analysis in the last game and all the rest, I kind of want to see Surefour just stay on this McCree from here until we actually see that Tempo can beat them with Surefour on the McCree.
I'd agree. There was a whole lot of cowboy in that kill feed, and we talked earlier too about how poke damage is not all that effective. One thing McCree does is finish fights. Those giant headshots from a mile away just end lives right there, and he got himself a couple of cleanups. There starts it off though. Mangachu playing the better McCree takes out Surefour.
Mangachu isn't done yet, has 2 to start things out, looking for more. This is a case where Zarya never really likes it when McCree is on her from long range, hard to deal with. Mangachu ends up being the sleep dart, gets woken up immediately, and Tempo, off of those early picks from Mangachu, able to immediately turn it right back in their favor. So thus far here in Lijiang, it's been a tale of 2 McCrees between Mangachu and Surefour, and of the sample size of 2 fights here, whatever McCree has done better has won the fight. So we'll see how things go going into the next fight. Surefour, though, getting on the high ground right now, looking to use Deadeye to his advantage. High ground plus range. Beat drop, though, takes down Rib pretty early, and this could spell trouble here for C9 as they have to win this 5v6.
Well, they do rotate near the point and get a lot of people into this Graviton. A sound barrier is going to save everyone out of it, though, as Tempo continues to clean up. Mangachu gets 2, Surefour gets 2. The McCree battle not settled yet. A nice Earth Shatter, though, takes down a spinning Mendo, but Rolf grabs another. It is so brawly, so back and forth right now. A 2v2 on the point.
It is extremely back and forth right now. B dropped one of the last people on the point with Hui. Hui holding on to Death Blossom. Probably doesn't want to use it in a small-scale skirmish, but if it's between that and losing the fight, I definitely expect him to use him. Right now, he's behind the wall. Might be looking for LC9 to rush in and just use the Death Blossom. Unconventional, doesn't have the nano boost, but still can be very effective. And that's why he's in this corner right now, Hex. He is waiting for the opportunity. There's 3 people there. Here comes Death Blossom. Hui coming in from the corner. Immediately takes down Kai. Does damage to the backline. And it looks like it might be enough. It's 2-on-2 right now, but sure for the heroics coming out towards the very end is taken out 2. And right now, this is where he's unleashed. Who's going to stop Surefour at this point? Maybe B dropped, but he's got to just need 2 headshots, and down he goes. Surefour at the cleanup, and C9 will be retaking this point.
It all's kind of coming down to which McCree dies first, because it leads the other one to feel extremely safe, just based on the range they're able to operate on. There's not a whole lot that can touch a McCree in either of these compositions. Perhaps it's going to be up to the Ana, but you don't really want a 1v1 of McCree as Ana from any range.
Well, do the Graviton coming from B dropped. I don't know if the follow-up is there immediately. Mangachu was looking for the Deadeye going in. It didn't quite work out. Now the Graviton is down. The Deadeye is down. And C9 still standing as Rib. Drops the hammer. Earth Shatter in. Wolf coming in with the backup. First kill here, the C9. And late Sound Barrier here from Tempo. I don't know if this is the greatest. They're going to end up getting Graviton instead. And that Sound Barrier might be as good as Wasted X.
Yeah, just a really interesting Sound Barrier to start off that fight. I think the notion was to Sound Barrier very far away and get the Deadeye onto it too, but they only grabbed one. Deadeye was unable to clean it up, and you see the difference on the other side, the patience from Kai there to wait a couple seconds into the Sound Barrier and then Graviton, and then they didn't get the immediate kills, but the cleanup and the isolation of those targets was pivotal to winning that fight.
Surefour right now coming out the Deadeye to start out the fight. Does a little bit of poke damage, not as much as looking for it, but he's still in great position lane, shot after shot here. Will be taking out Mini. Both teams down at the Reinhardts, but Mendo gets the backline. The Death Blossom takes down 2. And the 3 remaining members here at Tempo Storm, not super likely to pull this back. Mangachu versus the world, and he's just flanked on all sides right now, Hex.
Yeah, I'm sure that you're happy to see a Banana McCree die. You still dislike that skin?
You know, honestly, the Banana McCree, Sasha just comes in, it's like, yes. It's grown on me a little bit more. I still think that if you didn't get a McCree during the Summer Games event, you really messed up. If you're new to Overwatch, you know what? It's not your fault. You can get it next year. But if you were playing Overwatch regularly and you somehow didn't get a McCree, I don't know. Somehow I feel like you messed up, because that is by far the best McCree skin in the game right now.
Really play McCree
potentially ever.
Skin. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. America, yeah, totally. That's a play on American McGee, right? The game designer, game creator.
I mean, maybe? You might be looking for something that's not necessarily there.
American McCree and American McGee. I'm like 1 letter off. How is it not there?
It might be a thing. It could be a coincidence. You never know. Let's not paint Blizzard into a corner here.
Fair enough.
But the fight is underway once more, and Surefour, unlike what we saw in Nepal, is sticking with the McCrees, so both teams might just be running everyone's fair cowboy. Surefour right now going around the flank. He's not seen to start things out. Spo in a bad way right now, lucky to get away with his life, but he just runs into the meat grinder anyways. It's 3 kills here from C9, and they should be able to turn this forward in their favor as Tempo just running out of players to actually fight with.
Well, one thing I really love about Ana Sleep Dart is it really shows you a team's priorities of who do we think is the problem. And despite Hui, who had been running rampant through this team in the first couple of stages, they have been sleep darting Mangachu's McCree every chance they get. He got slept early in that fight. He is tired of his siestas, though. He's done on McCree. Mangachu finally giving up the ghost, goes over to Roadhog instead.
Roadhog can definitely present matchup problems with McCree from time to time. It makes McCree have to be much more aware of his positioning. You can't just sort of randomly dive to the backline as Surefour has been doing. Otherwise, you're going to be running to a hook, and you take a look at Mangachu. He knows who his target is. He's going to be applying pressure to Surefour and not let Surefour get as comfortable diving on to things like the Lucio, like the Zarya. And you notice how Surefour's positioned right now. He's afraid of Mangachu. He doesn't want it to go down that way. Still, though, C9 is definitely winning this poke war. The Sound Bearer's out, and they're going to push this to their advantage. As a Tempo, lucky that not have anyone fall just yet. Mini will fall. Here comes Graviton from Kai, and that should be it as Surefour is right there for the cleanup.
It's another one of those issues, I think, where you can just tell that Tempo's not talking to each other correctly, because there were 3 people in that fight, and then Mini decided he was going to ult, but his backup was already retreating to Pax. They were trying to get out because they didn't have a healer with him, as B dropped and Hui were trying to get to Pax, and so Mini, unaware of that, ends up using his Earth Shatter, tries to go in alone, gets nothing out of it.
This is really rough here for Tempo because they're going to get 4 ults up here, but if they use all these ults and get nothing, it's probably the end of the round. Here comes Mendo, Nano Boost in, Death Blossom in, immediately takes down Nap Time. And Tempo, 3 people down. That's going to be it. They're going to have to back up and reset for one final push. They'll have 3 ultimates for it. So you look at the ult economy situation, they're pretty likely to take the next push if they can get to a point in time. This is going to be very, very tight timing-wise, where they might not get the best positioning, and as a result, they might not get the best Graviton going into this fight, Hex.
Yeah, they do have like about 5 seconds here before they have to get on the point. The Graviton does start it off. A nice charge in by Mini to follow that up, too, as they take down 2 on their entry, though. Wolf does take down Mini in the meantime, though, so it's not completely one-sided, but Mangachu taking down Mendo might just be the boost they need to flip this fight around. They do have a huge advantage on the point. They will flip it at 99%.
Important thing to note there is that Surefour died pretty early in the fight. There was no risk of Surefour getting cleanup towards the end, but now they're going to have to hold this for many a team fight in a row. They lose a single team fight, they will be losing the round. So C9, they're coming back strong here on Lijiang, and C9 might not even have to wait for a crazy ult resurgence here. They have Death Blossom already at the ready. Mendo's had more of a quiet game here, but he could be about to go off. He's coming around the flank, and we'll see if it's effective. But here comes Hui. He's not letting him get the advantage. Hui's going to go in first. Nano Boost out, but he gets slept. That's a great sleep dart coming out from Wolf to stop Hui in his tracks and leave open the possibility of C9 taking this. Graviton out from Kai. Pulls in 3, and is the follow-up going to be there? Hui just Death Blossoms kind of willy-nilly to make space. It's not going to be enough. Surefour the fall through, and C9 taking this right back, Hex.
Yeah, they tried to use their ults to keep themselves alive into that Graviton. The Whole Hog came out, Death Blossom came out, trying to make at least the giant ball of players look intimidating. It does not do that as Tempo goes down 0-2 in this second map.
And that is a rough situation to be in here for Tempo, where you take a look at the last map, they came in very strong, up to nothing to begin with, ended up finishing out with 5. Doing the reverse sweep here on a control map, it's possible. We've seen it happen before, but it's not super likely. And again, you want to make the comparison here in Nepal. The biggest change-up that we've seen is that on Nepal, Surefour was all over the place. Opened up with Genji, ended up on Mei. Roadhog was just constantly switching up what he was on. Here on Lijiang, it's been McCree, McCree, and more McCree. And thus far, Tempo hasn't had a satisfactory answer to shut down Surefour the way they need to.
No, their best answer was Mangachu on his own McCree as well, but I don't think that's his favorite here. I don't think he's the most comfortable on it. When we've seen him really dominate it's been on this Roadhog and also on his Pharah play. So I think that Surefour probably has the edge in just 10 hours and experience on McCree, and it's showing.
And Surefour right now, just going around this upper side. It's a little bit more annoying for people to get on. It's not as free for, say, Zarya to just rush him down, and he's able to land shot after shot. Now, overall, Tempo actually doing a little bit of a better job in the poke war here. They keep C9 out, and what a hook! In from Mangachu, gets rid of the problem, as they'd say in the FGC. And now Tempo in a much better position here. Earthshatter coming in pretty early in the fight. Mendo in the nap time, but still Tempo with the momentum, and Hui just going to town on this backline.
Yeah, Rib with a very ambitious Earthshatter ended up getting into a wall, got nothing out of it except for a 0% on his ultimate charge. That is brutal, especially for something like Earthshatter. Mangachu continues to clean up, grabs a kill to end that fight. They're going to come in here a little underpowered as they're waiting for Zarya to get back in, but they're going to at least put pressure on the point.
They're keeping pressure on the point. For now, it's still in Tempo's control. They're getting percentage as they fight this, and Mendo just taken out by that hook. Mangachu starting to feast on these hooks in the way that he really hasn't the rest of the game here thus far, and Tempo, no fear. Another hook coming in from Mangachu. Has Whole Hog at the ready. Might not even need it, as Tempo just being relentless and cleaning up kill after kill at C9's expense.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for C9. Like, the fight went on long enough that Mendo, who was the first kill in that fight, is trying to get back in here now, but it's been Mangachu just landing hooks and deleting the DPS for the most part. The first fight it was Surefour, that one it was Mendo, and with only 1 damage dealer up, they've been struggling to get kills. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, Hui into the back. Death Blossom taking down 3, boosted by the Nano, and that is going to be another big team wipe coming out from Tempo, and they didn't have to use their full ultimate war chest there either, Hex. They still are holding on to the Sound Bearer. They still have Earthshatter and Whole Hog. So even though C9 is a little bit ahead in ult economy, it doesn't necessarily give them a decisive fight over what Tempo has right now. As B-Drop's going to open things up here. Graviton at the ready. Pulls in 2 members of C9. Sound Bearer out from Tempo. They are all in on here, countering ult for ult against Tempo. But Surefour, not doing too much of it. Takes down Mini. And might be the beginning of the end here for Tempo as they start getting ground right down.
That kill on Mini was absolutely enormous, though, because he had just Earth Shattered. They just knocked down the Reaper, and he was going in to try to clean it up and finish on the charge. He got halfway through the animation before he took a bullet to the brain. So a really clutch kill from Shore4 allowed them to keep someone alive and then open that fight back up for them. His McCree showing up yet again, and now they have a small ultimate advantage as Rib's going to look for redemption on a better Earthshatter than his first one.
And this is a case where Reinhardt can really shine, where all you really have up is an Earthshatter in the fight, where this can be the difference maker. Rib, though, not able to find an opportunity, gets swarmed by Hui instead. Both teams down a player to start things out. Shore4, though, uncontested here on the top, and anytime Shore4 is not under pressure, it is bad news bears for the other team. Mangachu not even in a position to get a hook off on him, and that will be C9 holding once more. And moral of the story there, you must defeat my Shore4 to stand a chance. They need to get on Shore4 early in these fights, or that's just gonna happen. And McCree also has the double penalty where he's much better at cleaning up a fight towards the end when there's, you know, it's more of a 3v3 type setup. So that even more emphasizes the point where Tempo must get on Shore4.
One of the best duelers in the game. I think Cloud9 has really adapted to what Tempo has been running, where they're not necessarily going in as 6 or a clumped up 6 at that. Their nap time is playing very far away from his team. In the last couple of fights, Mendo has just been hunting him down in the back line.
Shore4 knew Mangachu was coming up and noped out of there immediately. Ends up taking him out from behind. And even though Hui is able to take down 2 with the nano boost, a lot of his team is falling around him. It was great mind gaming coming out of Shore4 not to get taken out by Mangachu, and Shore4 just running around master of his own domain right now. And now Tempo down to their last fight here in this map packs. If they lose the next fight, they lose the round and they lose the map.
This is one of my favorite parts of this map when a McCree actually rotates up to the top here, because this is a great spot for a Deadeye, the highest of noons, if you will.
It's a great spot for McCree in general, where you can't really get in on him easily. He does have Deadeye at the ready. Shore4 is waiting for the fight to develop a little bit, and then he's going to go for it. Graviton is out. Happy little skulls popping right up. Mendo takes down 2, and Shore4 is going to be here for the cleanup. Tempo almost certainly going to lose this fight, and what a clean comeback coming in here from C9. And I gotta say, not to beat the same drum over and over again, but if you look at a main difference between the two maps, it's really Shore4 being on McCree the entire time here in Lijiang, where he wasn't on Nepal.
They haven't had a clean answer for it, that's for sure. They've been trying to get Manga to get hooks on it, but when Shore4 is playing as positionally dominant as he is, behind a whole lot of garbage, you're not going to be able to hook him cleanly. And Hui's going to get this play of the game just because that's where Reaper is right now, but Shore4 has definitely been the difference in the last several stages.
He absolutely has, and the other thing too is that even though this was one of Hui's bigger highlights, in general, Hui was getting contained a lot of that game, and part of it just had to do with Shore4, where as a Reaper, you can't crazily dive the backline if you have to worry about getting told whoa there, getting headshot by a McCree and all the rest. McCree, it's not a direct one-to-one counter. I mean, there's a good amount of interplay between the two characters, but McCree gives Reaper more matchup problems than a lot of other characters in the game.
Yeah, Reaper doesn't have like a super clean hard counter, but another DPS playing outside of his range is probably his biggest issue. And Slasher mentioned it before we started this, that Hui is sometimes inconsistent, and the Hui that we saw in the first couple stages was dominating.